Guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So there's no doubt that 2022 was a mixed bag for Evercade. We obviously had quite a lot of carts, but the start of the year was really quiet. It took a while for things to actually get going. And eventually obviously we got the announcement of the EXP, which was released in the same year, which was obviously really good. They did deliver on that front, albeit with some issues here and there, but they did actually deliver. And there were plenty of carts, some really good ones, very few bad ones, which is a good sign. But there was a massive gap at the start of the year. Now look forward to 2023, and we're already going to start with the release of Indie Heroes Collection 2, which should release at the end of January at the time of this video. This was supposed to actually release in 2022 in November or December, but guess with all the things that were happening, it got delayed and put back to January 2023. Hopefully there's no delays. I'm sure it should be fine, give or take maybe a week or so, but I'm looking forward to it. But in this video, what I'm going to be doing is looking at what we could expect in 2023 from Evercade products. Let's get started. Okay, the fantastic news is we're going to start with a cart at the very start of 2023, and end of January, Indie Heroes Collection 2, which a lot of people have probably played some of the games if you've got an Evercade VS, as this was part of the Evercade VS Game of the Month, and this will continue on the VS and the EXP through 2023 for the next Indie Heroes Collection 3, which will be released at the start of next year. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the good games that we've got on Indie Heroes 2. So Tapeworm was one of the first Game of the Months that we got earlier in the year, and it's probably been the best one that we've had so far. It's from the creators of Flea Low-Tech Games, and this is going to be the cover star again of this cart. It's absolutely brilliant. It starts off very simple enough, and there are a few levels that are pretty easy, but it does get ferociously difficult, and it's a great little challenge. I did thoroughly enjoy this one. I really loved it. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, so there's probably a few games here that most people have probably never heard of or even played. That's the Greenio Zerka trilogy. This is the second one. They're kind of a mixture of puzzle platformer games, and I actually quite enjoyed these. It was a pity that they didn't include these games as part of the Game of the Month. But in saying that, at least it's got something to look forward to, and I think probably these games and Tapeworm are probably some of the reasons that you would want to get this cart. And there's a few games I didn't really enjoy, but there's plenty of quality on here, albeit some of the games aren't exactly got a lot of longevity to them. But there's also this game called Nix, the Paradox Relics, which is quite a good fun game. It's quite basic, but it's still a good fun game to get your teeth stuck into. And don't forget Beer Tapper as well, which can be quite a good fun game. I think this one will be a bit of a high score chaser right enough, but it's quite good. Okay, so something else we know we're definitely going to get in 2023 is an Amiga collection of some sorts. Not entirely sure what the games will be. Hopefully we're going to see the Alien Breed saga. It'd be great to get Alien Breed 3D and also the 2D version. However, there are no games announced as yet. It really could be anything out there. Potentially it could be some of these games that we've seen on the A500 Mini. I mean, realistically, it could be absolutely any games that we could receive. Hopefully we see this one. This one's called Quack, which is a nice little platform puzzle game. Maybe we might even see some homebrew games as well, but there's thousands and thousands of Amiga games out there. It's really going to be hard to predict which ones we could actually see. But I'm looking forward to this collection nonetheless. Also, please include IK+, even if it's the C64 version, the Amiga version, I don't care. I would love to see this on Evercade in some form or another. Okay, speaking of C64, there's no doubt we will probably get another collection of C64 at some point, and I hope that it is going to be like a Thalamus collection and it includes this game Creatures, which is definitely up there with my all-time favourite Commodore 64 games of all time. Absolutely loved it. There's also a sequel as well, which was really cool. I thoroughly enjoy this game. Hard to say if we'll ever get this, to be honest. It was obviously unpredictable what games we will get given what we got on the first cart, so who knows. And another cracker to have would be Mayhem in Monsterland, which I think was made by the same people that made Creatures. This is another cracker from C64 days. We'd love this too. So it was also hinted at that we might see some homebrew games on Commodore 64 cart. Now, if we get any, I would love this one. This is Millie and Molly. It was a platform puzzle game. I think it had 99 levels and oh wow, absolutely amazing game. I played this over a period of 3 months till I completed it. I can't recommend this highly enough. So now that we've got the blue label for home computers, what else could we see? Could we see a Spectrum cart eventually? It's hard to say. Could we see Amstrad or Sharp X68000? Who knows? I would love to see a Spectrum cart. I think this would be extremely popular. This is Jet Set Willy, which was kind of good fun. But it's hard to say again what games would actually get on there because there's so many. But it still would be a great thing to have on Evercade. A lot of people would absolutely love this. Okay, so something that's actually noticeably missing from the Evercade library is a Turbo Graphics game of some description. I would love to see that. There's a few decent games out there. I think the Turbo Graphics Mini was probably one of the most underrated release in the last couple of years of the mini consoles. It had absolutely cracking games on it, and I guess not a lot of people have probably played these games, and I think it would be nice to see one or two appear. Okay, could we see Dreamcast on Evercade? There's a slim chance. I don't really think it will happen, to be honest, but it would be nice to get Namco on board to get maybe the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur, or even like an arcade game of some sorts. An arcade Namco cart would be really nice. It could happen. Dreamcast, I think it might be possible. Maybe. Also, we could see an N64 game. I don't think we'll see many N64 games because the emulation isn't particularly great. We could potentially see Glover, which I think Pico have the rights to publish now, so even if it's not this version, it could be the PlayStation 1 version. But N64, maybe the right game, it could happen. Also, there's a very slim possibility of seeing Saturn. I don't think we'll ever will. The emulation is not really great yet, but there are a few games that are technically possible, I guess, on the Evercade, such as this one. But who knows? I think these three, Dreamcast, N64, Saturn, even Atari Jaguar, are sort of formats that you'll most likely never see on Evercade. Maybe once the emulation gets better, and I think we have seen that the Jaguar emulation has got better recently.
Select your battle. Okay, good luck.
Okay, so this game is an arcade game called Don Pache. I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not entirely sure. It's from a company called Cave. Now, Cave had a lot of employees that used to work for, or back in the day, from Toaplan. So there's a high potential possibility that we could see a Cave cart filled with arcade games such as this. Obviously this would be perfect for the Evercade EXP Tate mode. It's just screaming out for that. There's plenty of shooters that Cave made. They're pretty similar to a lot of the ones you see on the Toaplan cart. And I think this one's got a very high possibility of happening. I actually quite enjoyed playing some of these. I know I'm not a big fan of shoot 'em ups, but they clearly made some real good quality shoot 'em ups. I'm pretty sure Evercade will try and get these on board. This is another one called Fever SOS, and I thought this one was fantastic, really good. So fingers crossed we see this. This could be a cart. I'm not sure how many games on it. I don't think it'd be that many. You'd probably be talking about 6 or so games on a cave cart if that does happen, but there's a high possibility this could happen given the fact that we've got Toaplan on board as well. Okay, no doubt we are going to see more carts from Toaplan and Irem, and if we get a Toaplan Collection 2, the game that should be on this would be Truxton 2. The original one was very popular. I thought it was fantastic, even though it was quite hard. And the second one is pretty much more of the same, and again you can see here it's going to be a game that would be compatible in the Tate mode for the EXP, which would be very, very welcome. Other games that we could potentially see: Twin Cobra, Snow Brothers 2 and Knuckle Bash, which I'm going to show upcoming in the next couple of videos. Okay, if we get an Irem collection, fingers crossed that we finally see this one. Ninja Baseball Batman. If we get a second collection, I would love to see this game. It's an absolutely fantastic sort of scrolling beat 'em up. It's quirky, it's weird, but it plays fantastic. It looks very nice, it's very colourful. So fingers crossed if we get an Irem collection 2 that this is one of the games that they include. Other games that we could potentially see are Lord Runner, Spelunker, Ninja Spirit, R-Type 2, and loads more.
Three, two, one. Let's go.
Okay, this one's a little bit out there. Could we potentially see MSX games on the Evercade? I've seen MX games appear on Antstream recently, and it sort of gives me the hope that we could potentially see some of the games on Evercade. Now, I'm only putting Metal Gear in here as a sort of a placeholder. I don't really think we'll see Metal Gear. I would love it though, because it's not really appeared on very many platforms at all, and it would be very welcome on Evercade. But will they be able to do a deal with Konami? Hard to say. It would be great to get Konami on board, but it is possible we could see MX6 on Evercade, given the fact it's now getting licensed elsewhere. So whilst we're talking about Konami, would it be nice if we could get a Konami arcade cart or some kind of Konami console cart or something? It would be nice. I think we have potential, given the fact that we've got Capcom on board. It may attract other large sort of companies like Konami, Sega and Taito, for example, but it would be nice. This is a fantastic game, Sunset Riders, which would be a blast, especially on the VS. We could maybe get 4 players on the go at the one time if they got that version. It would be fantastic. A great fun game. You can play it single player as well. It's still a lot of fun. Okay, if we're going to get a third cart, I would love it to be Atari Lynx collection, given the fact that this game, Clax, can be played in sort of this aspect ratio, the Tate style mode, and it would be quite cool. You can play this in any sort of orientation you like, and I think this would work amazingly well on the Evercade EXP. You can also play it in the VS as well, but I think this would be perfect. Not entirely sure what else we would have on an Atari Lynx collection, but this sort of puzzler would be very welcome. Given the fact that it's Tate mode compatible, surely this would be a must. I think there's plenty of games out there that we could potentially add to a Atari Lynx Collection 3, but I'm really not sure which ones to plump for. There's quite a few others there, like Hard Driving and sort of Shadow Warriors, that kind of thing, that we could potentially see. Maybe some more homebrew as well that are sort of lurking about out there. That would be very welcome indeed. Okay, just to make this clear, I'm not expecting Sonic in any shape or form. Unless we get Sega on board, you never know. This is a placeholder really, so that we could see if we can get more Game Gear games on the Evercade. Given the fact that we've got Evercade as a handheld, it would be nice to see more sort of handheld sort of style games on Evercade. But what game that would be, I really don't know. Having a look through the catalogue, it's hard to sort of pick a specific game that you could potentially see there. Obviously, it'd be great if we got these versions of Sonic, but yeah, we have no Game Gear games on Evercade. We do have Master System games, so why not have Game Gear style games? But what game that could be, I really have no clue whatsoever. Okay, whilst we're on the subject of Master System, it would be nice to get more Master System games on Evercade. Again, not entirely sure which games that would be. Very much doubt it'll be this one, Alex Kidd, but it would be very welcome anyway. We only have a couple of games on Evercade out of 300, nearly 400 games. That's a crying shame. There's tons and tons of great quality Master System games that would be perfect on Evercade. So it would be nice to have Neo Geo Pocket as well. That's another handheld that we would love to see on Evercade. Again, not entirely sure it would be this game that we would see if we did get that. It would be great. We'd need SNK, I guess, to be on board, and also Taito, which, yeah, we still hope that we could see Taito on board at some point on Evercade. There's so many great games out there, arcade, console, computer, it doesn't really matter. There's tons of great games. Same with SNK, that would be nice. Who knows, it's hard to say, but yeah, it would be fantastic. Okay, also on the handheld, we could potentially see Wonderswan Colour. Now this is a handheld that never really seen the light of day outside of Japan, and admittedly a lot of the games are not really suitable as well, but there are a handful of games that are fine for any audience at all, like this one, Final Lap. There's also Mr. Driller, which was great fun. It would be nice because so many people clearly didn't experience this handheld in the games that it had, so this would be great. Unsure again if Blaze will be able to get the licensing for the games or the sort of BIOS files or whatever it's needed for Wonderswan Colour, but we can hope. So I've got my fingers crossed that we could potentially see a Namco arcade cart or a Namco console cart or something. It would be great to get them back on board. I'm not really sure what the script is with them at all, but it'd be great to see like a Namco arcade like Tekken 3, Tekken 2, Tekken, Ridge Racer, that kind of thing, but I don't know. Okay, jumping back to Taito for a little second, I would love to see an arcade cart of some description with Taito on it. I did do a video probably last year or the year before that of some of the games we could sort of see. New Zealand Story would be fantastic. There's so many games that Taito have made, so it's hard to pick all of them. I loved Football Champ as well, which was fantastic, a great football game. Unsure if this is going to happen. I guess if it was going to happen, it could have happened by now. But given the fact that we've got some new publishers on board and Blaze are doing their best, it might attract some further companies like Taito, Sega and Konami to get on board. Fingers crossed, because this would be absolutely brilliant. Could we see a Neo Geo cart? Could we see an SNK cart? Could we get a Metal Slug cart, please? That would be brilliant. All of the Metal Slugs in one cart would be fantastic. All of them are a great blast to play. Mindless, easy to pick up, great fun to play. I don't know anyone that doesn't enjoy playing these style of games. Just mindless action, great fun, easy to pick up, and perfect for that sort of 5-minute, 10-minute play. Could we see Mortal Kombat on Evercade? This is, I think it's Williams or Midway that owns the sort of rights to these games, or it might be Warner Brothers now. It would be amazing. I think I actually preferred Mortal Kombat 2 to Street Fighter. I thought it was fantastic. I used to play this constantly, especially two-player game with friends and family. It was so satisfying to put that fatality on your brother or sister. Yeah, that was great. So another cool game that we could get is Smash TV from Williams. What a great game. You could probably see the influence that Xenocrisis had in the style it plays. This is pretty much where it got it from. That sort of single screen, the square sort of single room. Basically blast everything that comes through those doors. It's basically the same idea, but in this case you're sort of trying to win prizes. You're part of a TV show. What a game. What a fantastic game. Such a great fun. I remember playing this in the arcade back in the time, and this would be great if we got this on the Evercade. I think if they'd done the button mapping similar to what they did for Xenocrisis, would be on to an absolute winner with this one, no doubt about it.
Good luck! You'll need it!
Okay, we still don't really have first-person shooters on Evercade, and this one would be perfect. Given the fact that Pico actually own the rights to it now, fingers crossed we get a Pico Collection 3, and this is part of it. This is Zero Tolerance. This one certainly appeared on a lot of formats over the last sort of year. I think it sort of got a release on the Xbox, Switch and PlayStation, so yeah, fingers crossed we could get this on a cart. It really would be nice. It's not an amazing first-person shooter, but it's still a first-person shooter, and I believe it's a Mega Drive version. It is good fun, and it would be very welcome.
Handgun collected.
Okay, one game we could potentially see on Evercade is Final Vendetta.
Duke Sancho jumps into action. Let's go! And he's picked.
Take this!
Meet Claire Sparks. She kicks ass. Miller T. Williams drops in. Battle across 4 unique game modes. One last fight. Final Vendetta!
So there's no doubt that game looks really good, and it's from Bitmap Bureau, who have made games for and published games on Evercade before, and this game is quite pricey, right enough. This is the Steam Deck version, so if we got this would definitely be a single cart game. It's got potential. I think it could happen. It's kind of like a Final Fight style game, come sort of Streets of Rage thing, and that could potentially happen on Evercade. Another possibility could be some Turtle games, but I don't see this one happening. This is the Cowabunga collection. Potentially might see one or two of the games if we get Konami on board, but I don't know. This one's a very big if and a big outsider for me. So another potential game we may see, I'm not sure if this is capable of running on Evercade. It'd probably have to get its own native port, which this is Intrepid Izzy. I'm not entirely sure if this could run on Evercade products, but you never know. Let's have a quick look at it anyway. This game's kinda interesting. I'm really not sure this would run on Evercade. It would probably have to get its own port. It seems a little bit maybe advanced for an Evercade product. It's possible, but yeah, it's hard to say, to be honest. But this is a nice enough game. Now, one game I think will definitely happen is Alwa's Legacy. The original Alwa's Awakening was fantastic. Certainly one of my most favourite games on the Evercade platform. But the sequel, Alwa's Legacy, is an absolute belter. It's even better for me than the original. Let's have a look at it. This is basically similar to the original, but it's so much more. Nicer graphics, so much more doing, and it's a larger game as well. I'm not sure it's as long as Cathedral, but it certainly took me a number of hours to get to the sort of end levels. And what an amazing game it is. Anyway, I really hope this does happen on Evercade. It would obviously need its own native port, but it's an absolute fantastic game. Obviously it does look a little bit better. Unsure if it could be capable on the Evercade, but you never know. I think the native port, it's possible. Let's hope so, because this game is absolutely brilliant. So something I've probably brought up a few times on this channel is Pico 8. Now, we're not really sure if this is capable and who actually owns the actual license, but this would be absolutely fantastic in my opinion on Evercade. Who wouldn't want to play a version of this on their Evercade EXP? It's a very tricky game, but wow, it's fantastic. Now, another potential game is Bite the Bullet. This is a game from Mega Cats, that own the license, I believe. This looks really quite cool. Is it possible on an Evercade platform though?
Let me, the eating guru, show you how.
I'm not sure it would be possible on Evercade, but yeah, you never know. Might be too much going on, it's probably technically too far advanced for an Evercade product, but looks really nice, doesn't it? These are very huge outside bets for a single game cart, I guess. We certainly need a lot of work, I guess, done to get a native port. So cool. Okay, so that's our look at what we could potentially see on Evercade in 2023. Fingers crossed we get a few more announcements at the end of this month and we get a roadmap to what we could see through 2023. But we could see anything. I've not mentioned stuff like Renovation and Mega Cats that we could also see further collections as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.